Good evening. Good evening.
Hi.
Rowan Salisbury Schools, CTE, Career and Technical Education. I got my good friend here with me, Miss Sabrina Huff from Crosby Scholars.
Hello. How are you?
Just gonna let some people, we're gonna get us a little audience, and then we'll start our show.
Fantastic.
Start talking.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I mean, I talk to myself, you know.
Well, listen, sometimes it's good to have those conversations so that you can get you in check.
I do it all the time.
That's it.
All the
time. And then you can say to yourself, self, you did pretty good today.
That's right. I can reflect and say, self, that
do that
work.
That part.
Yeah, that talk actually works, self.
For sure.
All right, so we have a few viewers on, and those of you that are connected with us right now, I encourage you to share this video to your timeline. Mm-hmm. I encourage you to let people know what you're watching and let people know what's going on. We're going to bring some great resources to you tonight. It's parent night. This information is for parents with students. So I hope you guys are tuning in. You're going to learn a whole lot. This is Work-Based Webinar Wednesday with Rowan Salisbury Schools and Crosby Scholars. And like I said, I got my good friend with me, Sabrina Huff. Awesome, phenomenal, outstanding, amazing presenter. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And so I'm going to let her take the reins. I'm going to let her take over and give you some information.
So good evening, everyone out there in the RSS CTE land, parents that are listening tonight, and maybe even some of our resource builders and shakers in the community. Tonight, we want to focus on how parents are the foundation for their students' success. How is a parent the foundation for their students' success? And we really want to build on this using the analogy of the foundation of a home. When you think about your house, it started way before it had windows. I'm sitting in my kitchen, and you can see my door, and I purposefully set in the brightest room in my house. My door, you see the wall, you even see a cord there. But before any of that was there, we started with a foundation. And that's what we want to go tonight, into the foundation piece. But guess what? You can't pour the foundation without a plan. You have to start with a plan. So we have a brief video that we're going to go to, and I just want you to think, I'm going to talk you through this video, but I want you to think about the fact that your student, your house, what you're planning for your child, your student's future, and how you as the parent are the foundation for that. What have you put in place for your student in this process? Dominique, if you want to start our video there. The video that we're going to share is just a brief animation of how a house is actually built up and how a house actually starts. And I really want you to focus on the beginning structure of a house. I really want you to think about this more than anything, that every house has to start with a plan. Now, if our natural house, if this house I'm sitting in, wherever Dominique is sitting tonight, if it had to start with a plan, why do we send our children out into the world without a plan, without a foundation? Some you may already have your plan. And if you have your plan, that's wonderful, because we have something for you tonight as well. When you start thinking about the analogy of building a house. So let's just see.
Gonna start the video.
Yes.
I'm taking my notes. I got my cell phone out, so I encourage everybody else to take some notes too.
Awesome. So here we go. The plan has been laid out. The plan is there. I don't care how old your child is. You can have the youngest child, you can have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, but you have to have a plan. You see, the plan stayed there. Walls are being built. Foundation was poured. Walls are being built. And now it's being built up. We're starting to actually look at the way that we're structuring our child's life. Do we do it this fast? Is a house built this fast? This is an animated version of a house being built. But think about our children. Can we put things into place with them so fast? We'll miss something if we do. We'll miss something. If you throw those shingles on there that fast, you don't know if the plumbing is put in right, grass is growing, the sky is there, everything is in place in this animated version of a house. Look how quickly that house went up. Is that what happens for our students? Is that what happens with our children? Of course not. And it's beautiful. Look, even has a car in the garage. It's beautiful. It's laid out. The landscape is there. Dominique is going to stop that screen for us, but I just wanted to show you an animated version of building a house. Now let's talk about our students. Have we set the structure in place? Have we actually sat down with them? Dominique, let me ask you a question. How old is your daughter?
My daughter's 3 years old. She just turned 3 yesterday.
Oh, well, happy belated birthday to her. But I want you to think about this as a father. There are scholarships for children as early as 5 years old. Do you think that's something that you may want to start looking into now? What it would take if you knew that your baby girl could start getting scholarships at 5, 2 more years, she can actually start getting a scholarship to help with her college education. Do you think that's something as a father that, and for your wife as a mother, that's something you would want to start doing now?
Absolutely. That's something that we want to start preparing for now. And actually, I want you to tell me about those scholarships. You don't have to tell me now, but I do need that information.
Exactly.
We want to take
think about the plan. When you're writing out her plan, when you're looking at her future, the beginning of that animation of that house started with, like I keep saying, a plan. The foundation could not be laid. So parents, this is what I want you to think about. You are your children's foundation. One of the reasons I approached Dominique for us to even present this to you on tonight is that we have, in some areas, gotten away from believing that the foundation for our students starts with us. It does not start. We're in COVID right now, and there are a lot of instances, and we're coming out of it slowly, but there are a lot of instances where we were taken back, like, what do I do? I'm not a teacher. But what other resources are available to help me to be a better teacher, to help me to set the plan in place for my student? Sometimes as parents, we have to go back and look at some of the things that we've put in place for our students for them to be successful. So when we talk about that plan, start writing some things down. I just asked Dominique if he knew if there were scholarships available for 5-year-olds. There are. And I'll just give you guys a hint. There is one that I love telling parents about, and it's called Google. Yeah, we Google things all day long. When was the last time you Googled scholarships for 5-year-olds? Well, not only am I saying to Google it, I'm telling you that the company Google has a scholarship that's called Doodle for Google. It is a $30,000 scholarship.
Wow.
With a $50,000 technology piece attached to it, that if a student from a particular school district gets that scholarship, their school also gets the $50,000 technology grant. Now, think about this. The 2020, and I really hope some parents are listening right now. The 2020 recipient of the Google Scholarship, the Doodle for Google Scholarship, was a 10-year-old. In the 10 to 12-year-old range, a young student from Texas won the scholarship this year. She was in the 10 to 12-year-old group. She won the scholarship this year. There is money available for students, but parents, let me go back to you, because a lot of times we'll have parents that will come to us through Crosby Scholars, and they'll ask the question, what scholarships are available? Well, let's go build a foundation first. Allow us to help you build a foundation first. What does your student want to do? Have you had a conversation with your student about what are some of their career interests, or some of the things that they just are interested in doing on a basic level? We're not talking 10 or 15 years down the road. Do you have a student that is musically inclined? Do you have a student that loves the outdoors? Do you have a student that loves to paint or draw? I have a stepdaughter who is absolutely, I say step, but I say my daughter. She's amazing. And she is a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal artist. But her father and her mother, her biological mother, they had to nurture that over time. And now she is doing things that I'm blown away by her talent. So I share that with you because the foundation had to be there. She didn't wake up one morning and just started drawing that way. How are we nurturing the foundation? Again, we hadn't even left the plan yet. We're not putting up walls. We're not pouring concrete. We're not putting down a slab of concrete. We're not doing any of that. We're simply looking at the plan and saying, okay, I have a student that likes to draw. I have a student that every time I turn around, they're in their room and they're beating on something. I have a student that has music on. I have a student that loves going out and hunting or being in the outdoors, whether it's with gardening or whatever. I have a student that's a people person. When I initially went to college, I thought I wanted to be an accountant. I did not have anyone to talk to me about the process. I did not have anyone to say that this is your plan, that this is your foundation, Sabrina. So these are some of the things that you need to be doing in order to get to the place that you want to go. So for me, I had to stumble into it, literally trying to figure out what is it I want to do with my life. And I'll tell you, I knew it was not accounting when they let me know that I was going to be sitting in a room pushing buttons and not dealing with people. I knew I needed to be doing something, but it took me later in life. How awesome would it be for our students if we gave them a blank sheet of paper as a parent, sit down with them, and let's look at some of the things you like to do. There is an assessment, and I call it an assessment only because that's what it's called, but I want us to think about it as a planner, as a part of the planning process. So I'm telling you that you need to start a plan. I'm suggesting, yes, I'm very strongly suggesting that you need to start sitting down with your student and setting up a plan. But I'm going to give you some tools with which to do it. One of the tools that I like to use with not only students, but with parents, and it is called the Multiple Intelligence Assessment. It's the MI test. It is a 58-question test. And if Dominique and I had discussed it previously, it's something that he could actually pop up on this screen, pull it up, do the 58 questions, and show you how he learns just based on completing those 58 questions. Once those questions are complete, it gives you your top 3 intelligence. It could be social, it could be interpersonal, it could be intrapersonal, it could be linguistic, any of the learning styles. A lot of people like to call them that. I like to just simply put it, this is how I learn. My top one, in case you haven't guessed, is social. I want to be with people. I want to share information. I want to interact with others. It would not have been where I am just sitting in an office pushing numbers. So, through what we do with Crosby Scholars, we are able to talk not only with students. I'm the high school outreach specialist with Crosby Scholars for the Salisbury, South Rowan, and Henderson Independent School for Rowan County, but I'm also the parent advocate. Parents, I advocate for you for resources, for ways that I can help you through this process to find other resources to help you build a stronger foundation with not just your student, but all the way around. You as a parent. Some of you may not even know that there are funds right in Rowan County that will help parents if they want to go back to school. Let's build up the foundation. Let's shore up the walls. As I was thinking about coming on tonight and this dialogue with Dominique and with all of you out there in the CTE land and for RSS schools, one of the things that was really important to me was trying to figure out a way to help parents to see, no, we're not saying that you're not doing it right, but what we are saying is, how can we help you to build the foundation, shore up what you already have? And I will say this, my husband was telling me, because he's in construction, and he was saying, well, when you shore up the walls, you have to put a wall here, and then there has to be a connector. There has to be a connector to shore up all of the walls. I want to be your connector. If you will allow me, allow RSS CTE, Crosby Scholars, all of the resources that we have available to us and to you, we will help you build that foundation. I'm sure there are some parents on tonight, or even some administrators that are watching, that may be saying, well, wait a minute, what other resources may be available? We won't get to all of them tonight, but I can tell you this. We know that there are other resources that can help you with that foundation. One of the things that we want to be able to do, and we do this, and tomorrow night we will actually be on a webinar or one of our meetings with Crosby Scholars. So if we have some Crosby Scholar parents out there, tomorrow night at 7:00, we will have Parents Place. Parents that are not Crosby Scholar parents, you are welcome to come as well. Please reach out to me. Our information will be put in the comments once we finish. I'm sure that's okay with Dominique if we can share our email address. Well, there it is.
It's already on the screen.
Email me. We can send you the link for Parents Place. And tomorrow we will be talking about why, and this is something I want you to think about. Why should a college recruit parents instead of recruiting the student first? Dominique, what do you think? Why should a college recruit a parent first? Why should they come and talk to you and your wife before they talk to your daughter?
That's a great question.
That's what we're going to deal with.
I think that if I'm gonna put myself in the shoes of a college recruiter. If I was a college recruiter and I wanted a student to come to my school, I would want to know what kind of foundation
they
have. I would want to know what kind of background they come from.
Exactly.
Because students do what they see and they only do what they know, and they get all of it from parents. So parents, but I feel like parents, because you're in the house, you are the strongest influencer of your child. And so absolutely that I would talk to the parent too.
And that's something that a lot of people call them helicopter moms when they're stepping out there and they're trying to find out information. Well, a helicopter typically hovers. Yes. But think about this, when it comes to your student and it comes to what their future looks like, the way things are set up now, we need to be hovering. Yes. We need to hover. We need to find out exactly what is available. And one of the things that we will be sharing on tomorrow night with parents is this. College recruiters will actually say both answers. They will say, you don't want to be a helicopter mom, but you want to be involved. You want to be a part of that foundational piece so that your student has what's needed to be successful.
That's right.
And so those are just a few of the things that I wanted to share tonight. I could go on, and I don't know when Dominique is going to jump in and stop me, because I love talking about building that foundation for students. I know how important it is, and I know how detrimental it can be if they don't have it.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm just sitting here and I'm soaking it all in, and I'm learning so much, taking my notes, and I'm gonna apply it. I'm gonna apply it with my own child, and even though she's 3 years old, I know that it's applicable to her life as well. And so I've taken some notes, and I just want to talk about a few of them.
Okay.
What I'm hearing is you're here to help, right? So there's and I'm also hearing that there's a lot of resources around us, and you want to connect us to them. And so I want to encourage parents that are watching. There's an email address scrolling down up on the screen. I want you to tap into that email address, email Miss Sabrina Huff, and she is going to connect you to the resources that you need. What I'm also hearing is start early. So I want to encourage the parents to start now. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you start. Just go ahead and start now. My daughter's 3 years old. I'm going to start researching now. And I mean, every day, we always have this saying that, if you don't get better, then you're going to get worse. And so that's a great perspective. That's a great way to look at life. And that's how I'm looking at life for my daughter. And I know, we always have a saying, we want our children to be better than us. I want you to have more than me. I want you to be better than I was. And so the way that you set that up is you invest that time. You encourage your students, and you encourage your children, and you build that foundation.
Yes.
I love the analogy of a foundation of a house and the foundation of a life. If you think about the foundation, that's what holds the house together. And so even though, I don't know if you've ever seen a house that's been hit by a tornado or when it rains or been in a hurricane or anything like that. But guess what's still standing when it gets hit by a hurricane?
The foundation.
The foundation is there. And so once you get that, if you get a good foundation, a strong foundation built up, it's not going anywhere, no matter what happens.
And you can rebuild.
Yeah. And then you can rebuild on top of that. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because, it's inevitable. You can't prevent the inevitable from happening. There's going to be some rain. There's going to be some storms. There's going to be some hurricanes and tornadoes. But if your foundation is there, you can hold it together, and then you can piece yourself back together if you fall apart.
Exactly. And you know something, Dominique, just to add to that real quick, think about a foundation that has been laid. And I don't know if you've ever seen an old house where there's a crack in the wall, Typically, a good builder will tell you if there is a crack in the interior wall, there's a crack in the foundation. And if there is a crack in the foundation, you don't start with that wall. You don't start by fixing that wall. If there was a crack in this wall behind me, my husband wouldn't start with fixing that wall. He would go underneath the house and he would check the foundation first. And parents, if there are cracks in our children, let's look at our foundation. If you are, and this is how much this part means to me. If you are a parent that is watching this now, or you watched the recording, this is what I want you to think about. Your opportunity to fix whatever crack may be, because you know your crack. I know my crack. Dominique may have a crack that he knows about. So we all have something that we either want to fix the crack or at least be better than we were yesterday. Do something to be better. Learn something new. If you're that person that's watching this, I not only encourage you to email me, I dare you to call this number. This is how much this means to me. 704-475-8619. That's to this phone. That's how much our students mean to me. This is not just a job for me. I have made this a life for me, and that's building the foundation. I promised myself when I heard this, and some of you may have heard, Dominique, you may have heard the poem by Frederick Douglass. It says, it is easier, or the quote by Frederick Douglass. He says, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. I'm going to say that again. It is easier. It is easier to build strong children, build that foundation now, than to repair broken men. We don't want your child, my child, Dominique's child, other children. We don't want you to not have the resources that are needed for our children. And I say our, no, I may not be feeding them. I may not be putting clothes on their backs, but that's how much this means to me. We want them to have the resources that are necessary, but parents, that starts with you. So I am opening up the door. I'm asking if there are resources that you are in need of finding to help your student to either rebuild the foundation for yourself, for your family, whatever that may look like, whatever the desire is to do that. We want to offer that resource to you.
Yep. One thing that you said that I want to hit on, and then I'm going to give you one more thing. I want you to leave them with one more thing
Okay.
what you feel was most important that you talked about. But what really hit me was when you said, you know, if you need to really look at what your children are doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to start building the foundation from that. And what I heard was you need to help your children pursue their passions and their dreams. Okay. And so if you have a student that's a child that's in the room beating on the walls and beating on the table all the time, then you want to speak that greatness and you want to speak that success into existence. That's a drummer boy. That's a drummer.
He has beats in his head that could pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we have to nurture early.
Yes, that's a music producer. If you have a child that talks too much, that's a talk show host. That's a lawyer. You got to speak.
Great communicator.
That's a great communicator. You got to. That's a leader. Those are leadership qualities. You got to speak that stuff into existence. If your child is a child that can't sit still, guess what? They're gonna be a successful adult because a lot of us get caught sitting still. A lot of us get caught sitting on our behinds when we could really be doing something. So if they're active, they're always active. That means that their mind is being active, and so they're creative. They got a lot of thoughts. So you need to speak that into existence.
Yes.
Just speak it into existence. That's what I'm gonna leave you with. Speak their passions into existence and into success. And I'm gonna let you leave them with one more thing, and we're gonna get out of here.
Well, my one more thing tonight would be this: parents, don't just start with your children's passion. Some of us as adults have forgotten that one day we had a dream, and life happened, and we detoured from our dream. So our foundation is built on some hurt places. And sometimes as adults, when we have those hurt places, and it could have been from our upbringing or whatever, life happens. And we bring it over into parenting. And so now we're raising children with our hurt foundation, with that crack I talked about in the wall, that crack, it may be in here. And we're raising our children with that. And so that's all they know. Well, if you're watching tonight, or if you watch this later, please know that I've been there. I have been where you are. I did not have a lot of the plan, so I had to find it later in life. So my mission is to help you as a parent, to help your student look at the plan, build the foundation so that not only are you successful, not only are they successful, but let's come together like this and we can see success for the family.
Absolutely. And so, Ms. Sabrina, I want to thank you for being on here. I want
Thank
to thank you
you.
for just being so willing to spread the knowledge and just having a heart for pouring into our children, especially the students at Rowan Salisbury Schools. She left her number. She left her email's been scrolling across the screen the entire time. So I encourage you. I'm begging you. Reach out to her, and she'll really make a huge impact on your life. And I hope this reached some parents and some students tonight. And I hope that, and I know if you heard it and if you were listening to some of the things that were said tonight, that you are walking away with some knowledge and some resources and just a different mindset and perspective on building a foundation for your student.
Awesome.
And so with that being said, it's Work-Based Webinar Wednesday, first parent edition. We're going to come back at you later with some more of them. I'm really looking forward to what's next. And so for now, we're out and we'll see you later. Have a good night.
Bye.